Hi, I'm LaurieWay, Managing Broker at Coldwell Banker Bain Lake Union office here in Seattle, Washington. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about real estate excise tax just very quickly. In the state of Washington, you do have to pay an excise tax on property when it's transferred. This is normally 1.78%, and that would be for King, Pierce, Snohomish, Kitsap County, for sure, the big four here in the Seattle area. And it may be a little bit less in outlying areas. Usually I've seen it between 1.53 and 1.78. If you're not transferring property in those four counties, you can certainly go to the Department of Revenue, Washington State Department of Revenue, and check out their excise tax chart there. They've got all the charts for every city and every county, so you'll know what your obligation is. The excise tax is almost exclusively paid for by the seller. I've seen very rare incidences where if it's a short sale or a bank-owned property or something and somebody's refused, the seller is refusing to pay for it. Sometimes if it makes sense for the buyer will pay for it, but it's almost exclusively a seller obligation. Now there's an exemption to that, 1.78%, and there's a couple, but the biggest one is when one spouse wants to add another spouse to title in order to create community property, and the state has deemed that that's not necessary to pay the 1.78% excise tax on. On the other hand, you've got transfer where there may be no money or consideration involved in the transfer of property, and yet it still may be considered a transfer that is supposed to be paid the excise tax on. So what you'll want to do if you're involved in something like that is, number one, your escrow officer will take care of you. There's no doubt about that. If you have a question, ask. If you don't have an escrow officer and you're using an attorney for closing, they will know. And if you have a question on that, or you're just doing some kind of private transfer, you can certainly call the Washington State Department of Revenue, and they will explain to them what kind of transfer it is, and they will be glad to help you. So that's it as far as Washington State real estate tax. I just wanted to let you know that so that you're not caught unaware when you're at the closing table. Thanks for coming by, and I will talk to you next time.